Good morning, this is Pigsy, doing another video. I think my throat sounds a bit better, still got this like tickle in it, so that's why I got my face mask. To be honest, you only have to really cover your mouth, because normally you breathe in through your nose and you cough out your mouth. Not unless you blow out your nose really hard, or your breathing's hard. So, I was going to talk about laws of attraction and stuff like that. And also the empowerment of memory, because memory tends to be that you collect, the more you take in on an event, so there's a couple of things. There's what you call your recall and your memory. So your memory is what you remember from the situation or what's happened. Well, to be honest, it's a combination of events and consciousness that form a chain of time, maybe in your mind, a time frame. And a time frame, like a picture, could exist in a second. It could exist much more than that. So it's like a film. Then it becomes a medium. But in your mind, it was only what you could see and perceive, and then it's been reconstructed into this film. Like no different than a DVD playing on your recorder. The only difference is that's recorded exactly what's happened in light. But it can be edited, and if it's edited it's changed, and you won't see the director behind the camera and other things like that. So you're seeing a representation of something that's an occurrence, and the occurrence is made from events, and the occurrence is a measurement of time, or occurrence, and currency, and an exchange of information, flow of energy. You know, it's all. I guess you could probably look into the words a bit. Memorize, mentor, memento. Something from the event, something you contain, something you hold. So all these other words are kind of related, as they sound similar. Their meanings are kind of could be like conjecture at some level, but there's also the paradox of suggestion that there might be some connection. Meaning, and you might find that meaning there anyway. It doesn't really matter too much. Okay. So basically, somebody says they've got a good memory. Maybe they recorded a lot of information, a lot of data at the time, and then they reconstruct it, but however they might be able to reconstruct it so well. So for example, if someone possibly is autistic, they might have an eye for detail, but they might not have an eye for recall. They might not have that creative spark to recreate the situation like a hologram, like the holodeck in their head. But it might say, oh, well, she did this, you did that, and that happened, this happened. It's not quite telling the story. She slowly moved towards the coffee table, but her hand knocked the cup and it fell on the floor, and the hot coffee went on her foot, and she yelped. It's a little bit different, and she was also wearing a red dress. It's like inconsequential stuff as well. I just mentioned that. And other things, details, but there may be more exact in other different levels. So somebody's ability to recall is also important. And how is this important to you? Well, most people assume that what's in their memory is actually the truth, and and everything like that. You see, it's kind of they got this. They get too caught up with the singularity of events, and they have this narrow band of focus. Like, well, this was said, but you don't know how it was sent and what it was meant to be by what it was said, and how that person felt when they said it, and stuff like that. You know, their reaction, did they mean it, did they not mean it, all these sorts of things. It's like you can get over-analysed, and the reality is that if you control your own present mind, present is in a gift. So I have the gift of present. I present myself. So I am the gift. So post, present, and what? It's obviously a bit past and present. future present maybe as well. So, future present, how can that be true? Well, basically what you're doing is you reconstruct your memory to fit the narrative, and depending on how you feel in the present, which would distort your memory. And your memory will be the selection of events and occurrence and how they occurred, and the meaning and other things you put into it. And then you play out this story in your head, and that's that. And what you can do with that is you can change the way that event happened in your head slightly. And there's nothing to say it didn't happen like that, because you speak to somebody else, they might say something completely different than what you've got in your current memory. And how does it best empower yourself? That's the thing. It's like when people make mistakes, they often find something else to blame, and as a result they record that in their mind, that the reason it didn't work out is because he didn't check the weather report and it was his fault or her fault. It wasn't that you was impulsive and you wanted to go out and it was raining, or it was very cloudy and then a storm broke out. So, nobody wants to criticise themselves. Or there are people who just criticise themselves only. They're afraid of confrontation, so they say, well, it was my fault, I should have said that, I should have done this. And they get caught up with this blame culture. The thing is, you can reprogram your mind in the present state however you want it to be. And this is important for laws of attraction. If you want to create stuff new in your life, you can't hold on to old premise of the premises, yeah, so like it's something you own, that is, or the premise of the belief of the ownership, or the assumed. Assumes consumed. I assume this to consume this. So so it's lots of things. A bit like I'm reprogramming myself with words. What do these words mean? What do they mean if they're cut up? What if I take them into the syllables? And what kind of conscious values do they have? And the fact is, in my brain, that they have different meanings enables my mind to be more fluid. But if I'm stuck in kind of stagnant beliefs, like, he said this, he's a racist, or this, did that other person turn around and say, yes, actually I am? I joined racism a long time ago because I was told to believe this and I believe that, and then it became a part of my religion, and so then now I'm a racist. And what happens? No, it's just someone's interpretation of, because you talked or thought in a certain way, you are not anti, but you're racist. You hate this thing. You might have anti-beliefs because of the impact of a culture on your culture, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're racist. You just have a negative opinion. But for some reason, people have chosen to narrow their selection of vocabulary and just say trigger words. And there we go. You don't want triggers everywhere. The tree guards. So it causes some kind of reaction. So there's too much of that goes on. But changing the present, enabling yourself to alter some of your structure, because the event also formed a part of you as well. You weren't separated from a bit like the creator. You can be different from the creator, but you can't be completely indifferent. You have a connection. And the same with the environment. The environment has the same frequency of energy that you do. It radiates to you, and you radiate in the environment. You can be seen outside, and also you can see the outside. You can feel the outside. So you're not inseparable. If you shout and scream, that energy is absorbed by the stuff around you. You heard of psychic trauma and stuff like that. Or the same way, if I use heartful meditation, I can kind of imprint calm or collective energy. And I've noticed that basically I've had sort of less kind of paranormal disturbances. Like at night I sometimes sense things there and stuff. But I also aware that plants have this impact as well. Maybe sometimes the plants kind of commune with me. They kind of influence my mind. I could sense the plant wanting me to water it, so I got you some water. Which might sound bizarre, but it's kind of me tuning in and using empathy. And there's things in your head as well. Christ, you have to. It's your inner world you have to guard sometimes. And it sounds strange, paradoxical. I had to have a kind of stern conversation with a part of my mind. It was suggesting what a good idea it would be to go near to somebody who I used to know that I fell out with, and I'm thinking, no, I don't want to go there or create that. And I'm thinking also, the thing with law of attraction is that the other person may want to confront you in some way, see what you're doing, have a go at you, or maybe believe you would do that. And because they have these structured beliefs about a past experience went wrong, a toxic experience, they might think that you're really going to want to relive that bad experience, and so they're kind of trying to prove it to themselves. As a result, they're using a sphere of influence, so they want to see you, but they're also going to cause this idea of trying to influence you at a conscious level. I had a discussion with my yoga teacher, and he said about the Beatles. We were talking about people that might be fake, and he said they they didn't start off so great, the Beatles, but they got a lot better. And I said, I wonder if that's because collectively what they represented to people. You've got an indicator on, you're not going that way. Yeah, so if you believe in someone, you project that into them, that sphere of influence. So very much nowadays, I don't really think, it almost feels like I haven't got a past. I can recollect stories and things from my past, from my past experiences or the journey of my life. But where I am now is I'm something different. Because I've taken a journey inwards, the path outwards has somewhat changed the landscape. And what you see around you, it also exists inside of you. When you're able to create, you go into these dreamscapes. Some of them are just like simulations of things you've created to figure out. Some of them may exist when you'll come out of the sleep, because they're based on other things around you, like you've influenced the frequency, you've acted like a prism, or so you create this rainbow of effects and feelings. And like last night my dream was it was nice. I think I was trying to figure out a problem, but the issue was that the person I thought that would help this other person out has got a lot older, and so the scenario wouldn't happen. But it was nice. It was just playing out, how to kill two birds with one stone, as they would say. And so yeah. Anything else to talk about? I think channeling. What the aim of a channeler is that you can take on the identity or package or structure the consciousness to sound a particular way in a particular focus of the events that will occur. But then what you want to do is modulate that with your own personality, and then you create something very much different, and you can bring in other conscious aspects, and that's how the language and focus and the energy changes. And so you can have it so subtly merged together. So it's like different frequency bands on the radio. You've got it so finely tuned. It's like it's like a song actually. Like I say, it's a universe. The universe. The universe. With inside you. So yeah, you can play around with all these concepts and not be kept in a kind of stereotype. See, stereo and time. A type of stereo. See, it's all there, it's all there. Anyway, have a great day, and I will speak to you soon.